whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank you, Orbis, for choosing to work with us, Next Gen Consulting. My name is Stephanie, and these are my partners, Lucas and Jeffrey. Your company has been experiencing great success in your industry due to your focus on strong, long-term investment performance. But now, with the recent influx of new assets under your management, as well as new clients, you're faced with a customer relationship management software system that no longer supports this growth. So, here's what we recommend to you. The objective of our proposal to you is to align Orbis' CRM system to reflect the recent company growth, as well as capitalize on your future opportunities and future client needs. The issues that you're facing right now is that your current CRM system, which is your CMS, is outdated and no longer supporting your needs. So, our recommendation is to adopt Microsoft Dynamics CRM solution, ultimately giving you a complete alignment of Orbis' systems and towards your company's long-term strategy to better prepare you for future success and scalability. Here's our agenda for today.
Let's take a look at the issues you are facing currently. In the investment industry, the information regarding your clients' needs, objectives, and investment goals are critical to adding value for your clients. With an outdated CRM software, you're going to be facing issues in adding value to your clients in the very near future. We've identified it to be the primary issue in this case. There's also several other secondary issues, such as clients' needs changing, unfavorable industry outlooks, as well as conflicting views on potential new systems. However, with the outdated CRM software being the most important and urgent issue, our solution to you will be focused solely on that. Your company has a long-term philosophy regarding investments, and it's proved to be successful in the past, although at times you have lost clients due to it. However, your company is currently doing well, and the philosophy has proved to be a success, and so we want you to be able to continue the long-term philosophy moving forward. The international presence in 8 countries. Your company is essentially a global company operating in multiple different countries. That company should also seek to have an infrastructure or support network that matches the size and scale of your company. In the investment industry, your key success factor is long-term investment performance. And so your company as a whole needs to be able to support that objective. Particularly your infrastructure, your processes, your software all need to be long-term to match your current operation timescale. For your industry, there are many regulations and requirements, especially with compliance, that have to be matched. Your technology also needs to be able to match that compliance with your regulations, particularly with client needs, as well as regarding the many regulations released by governmental bodies. The information that is critical to making decisions changes rapidly, and so your technology needs to be able to keep up and provide you with real-time data to make decisions in order to continuously add value to your clients. Your CRM software, client management system, is used primarily by ICG, but also by all the business units in your company. There's multiple stakeholders that have an interest in and have a say in the new software to be chosen. And so with new software, the requirements need to be considered across the board and not just for one unit. There's also heavy daily usage, thousands of transactions, that is vital to operations, which means that you cannot have any downtime regarding implementation and a change in software. The current iteration also will eventually become obsolete. Day by day, your software does continue to become more obsolete as it is building on older software. And as you go, you are having less personnel who have the knowledge and expertise and understanding of the software that was built on. In the future, this software will become very difficult to modify and may hinder your long-term plans. In addition, your software should be compatible with Microsoft Office, as that is your email platform. As a CRM, it's vital that it has access to customer information, and email is one of the primary communication channels within the business.
So, these are the 3 strongest alternatives we have for you today. The first being to continue updating your current CMS system. The second, to adopt Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which would transition you to a new CRM which is off the shelf from a very well-established vendor. And the third, to to build an entirely new CRM system in-house. These are some of the criteria we deemed most important to your company in making this decision. The first being scalability. Of course, we had to give the edge to the most well-established partner, Microsoft, for this. Second, being to build a new CRM in-house, as you can customize this to exactly what you're hoping for. And last, being your current situation, continuing to update your CMS. Next is the functionality fit. Like Lucas mentioned before, some of the different functionalities you're looking for is good communication with your clients through Outlook and such. And this is why we gave Microsoft one of the strongest scores, but of course, recognizing that building an in-house CRM designed specifically to your specifications would be the strongest option. Next, training demands. If you kept your current CMS system, of course there'd be no new training demands as you continue to update it as needed. But with Microsoft as an entirely new provider, an entirely new system, there would be the greatest amount of training demands for this. And in terms of building a new CRM system, you can design this similarly to your current system, so the training demands would be slightly less. Next, cost. As you pointed out before, we recognize that adopting Microsoft Dynamics would be the most cost-efficient solution, and of course, building a new CRM system ground up would be the least cost-efficient. And the next, downtime. We know that in your industry, downtime is could have some very negative effects towards the value added you could bring to your clients during that time. So we wanted to make sure that downtime is considered in these options. Of course, if you update your current CMS system, we know that you must always go on downtime when you're doing the updates, which is why we had to award this as 0. And of course, adopting Microsoft Dynamics CRM as the greatest in the downtime, as the most efficient in this, because we can run both systems simultaneously so that we would eliminate all downtime. And as you can see, adopting Microsoft Dynamics won. So here's what we recommend to adopt this new system with this new partner. Now, we know that this software matches Orbis's long-term outlook and size. And of course, Microsoft would continue to be modular, which would mitigate risk of tech obsolescence, as we know that this is a huge risk in this industry. Tech is continually becoming obsolete. So if you partner with a large provider who's continuing to update their software to match client needs, this would be most optimal. And of course, Microsoft Dynamics offerings are optimized for scalability. Right now, you don't know where your company is going to be going over the next couple of years. You don't know what opportunities you're going to be faced. So if you partner with a company like Microsoft, all of their other offerings will be able to help fill your needs that you have that are not foreseeable right now as you come across them in the future. We also recommend that you run Microsoft Dynamics in parallel with your current CMS system to ensure that there's a seamless transition, and like I mentioned prior, that there would be no downtime.
So, with the implementation, we thought it would be best fit to utilize a waterfall methodology using 6 phases. That begins with requirements planning, then design, implementation, and then we have subbed out testing and training to go in par together, then deployment and maintenance. In order to ensure that the implementation is a streamlined success, we've identified key people within your organization that will be in charge of this solution. First being the project sponsors, your operating council, and your board of directors. Generating buy-in from upper level management and having them confirm that this is the best solution for you in the direction that you want to go for the future will help the organization proceed with this implementation. Having Brianna Campbell as the project manager would be best fit, as she is best suited to carry out the implementation. One of the requirements that you needed if you wanted to ensure that the Microsoft Dynamics was going to be successfully implemented was to hire an external CRM expert. And then the champion for this solution within the future of Microsoft Dynamics will be Jason, as he was the one that was most advocating for this project. For the training lead, Brianna will be going around to all your different regions and location in conjunction with Microsoft support. We really want to utilize the global scale that Microsoft has, having locations in each of the places that you have right now. So we want to utilize their team to implement the training sessions to ensure a streamlined success for all the locations that you have for your company Orbis. For the first phase, requirements planning, it's doing the proposal with the operating council and the board of directors. And then it will be to contract out to Microsoft Dynamics while getting the implementation, training, and resources completed with that downtime. Further on, it's going to form a development team with Microsoft to ensure that the success of your implementation. And then it's finalizing that implementation timeline and the schedule. With the design, it is an off-the-shelf CRM that will be handled by Microsoft. However, it is going to be customized a little bit through Jason and Daniel to make sure that it fits Orbis's needs. Within the third phase, with the implementation, how it will be done is headed by the external CRM expert that you will hire within that hiring process. They're going to be doing the ETL, so extracting the current client data from the existing CRM, which is your CMS right now. Again, handled by the development team, and then transforming that information and data into standardized format that is compatible with Microsoft Dynamics. That has to do with naming conventions, normalization, everything included as well. And then loading that onto the Dynamics CRM that you will be using once everything is fully and successfully implemented. And then that will be in conjunction with the Microsoft development team. And then it will happen over a weekend update outside of work hours so that you capitalize on the zero downtime. Again, both of these programs will be running in parallel. So you'll be using your current CMS as well as the development of this new Microsoft Dynamics until everyone's fully trained where you can proceed on and run this CRM. So with training, again, Brianna will be conducting the training, going to each location. So how it'll be done is in a conference-style training sessions with upper-level management in the respective locations. And that has to do with the ICG teams, the client services, as well as the reporting teams. And then they will work with a local Microsoft support team to help train the facilities as various languages and other things can be a factor. Carrying on, the testing will be done by the 3 developers, Jason, Daniel, as well as the third, that will ensure data accuracy once you're bringing the system over, as well as testing the key functions of the business. And that has to do with the relationship, opportunity, and distribution management. From then on, they will be trained on the know-how and the benefits of Microsoft Dynamics. Because you are switching to a new CRM entirely, you have to create that buy-in for your company with Orbis. Using the current system right now, they've been using it for over 10 years, and then there will be some feedback and disgruntledness that your current employees may have. You want to make sure that when you're doing this transition, there's enough feedback from everyone from upper-level management, so that's an easily streamlined transition for your team. And then, in addition to that, we will have additional webinars that will be provided as a supplement so that they can do additional training in the background and in the future. As well as employees will be tested through training modules to ensure that when this is fully implemented with your CRM, that it's fully functional and running right from the get-go. With the 5th phase, the deployment, how it will work is that the existing program will run in parallel again until the deployment is completed with the Microsoft Dynamics. And then we're going to be doing this in 3 phases, starting with your local location here in Vancouver, in addition to San Francisco and Hamilton. From then on, we'll move on to London and then Luxembourg, with finalizing out the 3rd phase in Asia with Tokyo, Hong Kong, Sydney, and Melbourne. And then the turnover to Microsoft Dynamics CRM will all change over on October 1st after all the training sessions are completed and finished. Again, with the phase 6 in maintenance, because Microsoft will be handling this CRM software, they will be doing all the maintenance for you. In addition to that, Jason will be championing this Dynamics CRM. What that means is that he will handle the patch updates and communications with Microsoft Dynamics, as well as handling internal training for future employees, and so forth. So with the Gantt chart, we've estimated that it will take up until the end of September, about a 9-month time frame to get everything up and running till the end of training. So within the first 4 months, we've changed the colors coordinated by the different phases. So within the first phase, it would take about the first month, starting from today in January, up until February, where you will make the proposal with your operating council, and then hiring that external expert for the CRM, contracting with Microsoft, and then finalizing that team and schedule. Once it is created, you're just going to buy the off-the-shelf product from Microsoft themselves, again, modified with Daniel and Jason's suggestions on how they should run the program. And then further from that, extracting the data as well as transforming it and loading it will take about the next 2.5, 3 months to make sure that when you are transferring all your data, it is accurate to what you're going to be using in the future. Again, because this is running in parallel, you'll be constantly needing to upload and the new data as you go along until the deployment is fully completed. So again, this is an ongoing process. So within the latter months, this is when we'll be rolling out the training sessions in all of your locations. So we staggered it by a 2-week time frame, where Brianne will take place for the initial 2 weeks, teaching them how to run the system, and then having the local Microsoft teams carry on the training sessions from then on forward. Once we finish the first phase, however, we want to make sure that there's continued maintenance and support ongoing up until the end of the year and into the future. Again, within the first year, we want to make sure it's internal, and then after that, handled with Microsoft directly. So in order to make sure that your company has a successful implementation, we've identified some key metrics that you will need to take a look into. So the first one is a total transformation of your data by May 2019. Again, this is just for the initial phase, where everything from your existing current CMS is going to be transferred over into Microsoft Dynamics. Once that is completed, then you will still ongoing implement the new and data up until that deployment period in October 1st. The second one is with the training modules. We want to make sure we have a 95% pass rate with all your employees across the board. And then this will be done in the phases. Again, the first one being done July 2019, when that will be ended. Second one by August 2019, and third one by October. Because we know that there is a long time frame from the first training session to the last, that's why we've included the additional webinar seminar sessions, so that the employees that finish the training within the first phase still have additional supplements so that they can refresh themselves if need be once it rolls over before October 1st. From then on, we want to make sure that every location is independently running on this new CRM by November 1st of 2019. We want to make sure that we give you at least a month of training and learning, just to make sure that everything will be seamless and that from on everything should be working effectively.
Although the solution we have proposed to you is relatively lower cost, there are always costs that you should be considering. First and foremost, there will be the initial acquisition of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and there could possibly be subscription or licensing costs, potentially per user, depending on the delivery format that you choose. There's also the cost of training. Brianna will need to fly out to several locations, and the employees will need to take time to train as well. This would include explicit costs such as wages, as well as intangible costs, where if they're training, they may not be doing work that could be adding value for customers. There's also the cost of hiring the external CRM expert, as well as potential maintenance and customization costs for the customization of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, as well as ongoing costs after the initial implementation.
Throughout this implementation, we do foresee a few potential risks. The first of which being disgruntled employees, like we mentioned before. Of course, the impact of this would be moderate, not quite high, but moderate, as you want to make sure that all of your employees are on board in this transition. You can do that through effective communication and a strong policy. The second being any delay in implementation. But throughout our Gantt chart and our implementation schedule, we've allowed for any potential delays that are unforeseen by setting out a very conservative timeline. And of course, we've also noticed a little bit of a potential lack of cohesion between two of your key IT personnel because they have very differing opinions on which solution should be taken into account. So for this, we recommend including them in the early stage of the implementation to ensure employee buy-in. The last being any potential value add lost for your clients during this transition period. But we believe that through strong communication of this value to your employees and strong communication with your clients so they're aware of what's going on during this transition, you can mitigate this risk. Ultimately, we are very excited to see Orbis have a complete alignment of their company values and your competitive edge to your new systems to ensure that your long-term strategy will continue to prepare you for future scalability. Thank you.
Can see that you've just got 2 weeks out, Jason, and to modify the package. Could you elaborate on how you came to that estimate?
So with the estimate, it's just little suggestions that they will have in favor of the CRM they're going to be purchasing. Because it's just an off-the-shelf CRM, we find that it's limited adjustments that will need to be made for Orbis to succeed with their implementation.
With both systems running parallel for periods, people will allow. There could be some data integrity risk. How would you do that?
So by data integrity, do you mean accuracy or?
Sure.
Yeah. So with the data accuracy, that's why we want to make sure that the development team, once the training sessions have been conducted and fully placed, they're going to be in charge of making sure that all that data is fully accurate. So when they're running in parallel, everything will be fully functional with the current CRM, and then they will be in charge of handling all the future transitions for that new future client or any other data that will be taking place during that 3-month training period.
In your plan, who is in charge of documenting and validating business requirements?
That would be the project lead for this entire implementation. We felt it was really important to have one strong key lead for the entire project implementation. So when working with different clients and different companies, as well as with your new partner, Microsoft, everything would go through one person, so there would be no confusion between any of that.
And when would that happen in the timeline?
So that will be conducted within the first phase of the primary time period.
What's your plan from the fact that you'll lose functionality by going out of the box with Microsoft Dynamics? Like the secret activities
We felt that although there was some functionality lost, there was some workarounds that were proposed by, I believe, Jason. And so we also believe that the long-term value that Microsoft brings and adds to the company is worth the slight loss in functionality.
So in that, as add-on question, the data loss then, is when you do the migration and transformation and normalization, do you have a contingency plan for where you place that data, or will it just be lost in the system?
So during that period, it will also get rid of the redundant data as well. So when they're transferring over the old information from the existing CRM into Microsoft Dynamics, that's also a time frame where they can get rid of the redundant data and then try to mitigate as much as they can of the transformation from that important data into the new product.
Can you elaborate a little bit on organizational change management? Currently, in your plans, the first communication to the organization happens in phase 4 when they are supposed to receive training. And consider a global organization, so folks won't see, they're on the same floor and see that things are happening, so what are the thoughts there?
So how it would happen would be the conference sessions with upper level management, and then they will trickle down from top down. So when we do the conference sessions that is headed by Brianne as well as the Microsoft support teams in respective locations, they're going to do the initial training so that once the people have completed that training, especially with the ICG team, they will further be able to help train employees within the rest of the company in each of their respective locations.
And that includes more than training, but also just communication. Hey, this is happening.
Yes, yeah. And there will be an initial release of information saying that you are transferring over from your current existing system to Microsoft Dynamics.
Your training schedule goes for 4 to 5 months. So is there any thought around potentially adding in more trainers and more resources to shorten that time frame and expedite go live?
We estimated the timeline based on a bare minimum, in a sense. And so if, depending on Orbis' situation, and we didn't have the information available to analyze it, more trainers could be added as needed, or even less could be used if that is possible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, at some stage, we're going to depend on just Microsoft to help and assist. Did you think about having an in-house expert or continuing?
Yeah, so that's when we conducted the champion. So Jason will be the champion of that CRM. So he will be the one currently directing. Oh, sorry. He will be in communications with Microsoft to make sure that everything is fully up to date and streamlined.
Thank you. That's all we have time now for questions.